waiting for. Please welcome the Pelbros Podcast.
Yo, what up, players? It's not just me in the his house. It's your everyone's favorite adorable host, fucking Ryan DW. But we also got two other hosts here too. We've for the first fucking time ever, it's a historical occasion. We've had the guests before, but now we've got the guests and two of the Pelbros. So this is the first official guest kind of thing, I guess, right? Anyways, introducing James as always.
Yo.
And our guest host, Tomiqi.
Good day, good evening. How's it going?
Hey, well there you go, gentlemen. So now this is no longer just a podcast. Now it seems that we have a proper conference here, right? We've got a business call going on here, right, gentlemen?
Yeah, who's taking minutes?
What was that, sorry?
Who's taking minutes? Who's taking notes?
Sure not. I mean, technically we're recording this, so we can just kind of have, the secretary do it later.
All right, good. So I got IT student handwriting.
Yeah. What were you going to say though, James?
No, same thing. Finally bringing in a guest, long-time listener as well. So shout out to Tommy for being a loyal Pelbros fan.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
No, yeah. Honestly, boys, it was like I had to go down dark here, but just to set the tone for the episode. I was at the children's hospital. After my rehab camp with Tommy, and I saw Tommy there. He was like, "Oh, fucking hell, bro. I don't know if I'm gonna make it, bro." And then I said to him, "Mate, I'm part of the Make-A-Wish charity foundation. What would you like to do, young man?" And then he looked me straight in the eyes, and it was the most purest soul I had ever seen, And he said to me, "Ryan DW, I want to be on your guys' show." So I think we all I hate to be kind of sounding all smug and shit, but I do believe there's a round of applause in need here, right? Because we've made this young man's wish come true.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't know what's worse, if it's the COVID or the AIDS, or just how both of them are affecting each other. But the reprieve I feel from being on your podcast is it's all gone. So thank you guys for saving me.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm cool with it. If anything, what about you, James? Though you reckon it's you think we're trying too hard with this, or what do you think? Is this good for our brand image?
Look, no, it's good. I think anything's better than doing rehab with you, Ryan. So, yeah, it's definitely a good opportunity to bring on a guest, and hopefully lives up to your expectations, mate.
Oh shit! I gotta sit up straight. All right, talk about basketball.
True. Yeah, because like I said, gentlemen, this is a conference. Welcome to the great Pelbros discussion forum of fucking basketball. I was gonna say, what episode is it, James? 46?
Yeah, 46 now.
Yeah, so number 46. Thank you guys for tuning in. As per usual, we've got three-way session and shit, so we're trying to work this shit out as we go. But I mean, let's talk about some fucking basketball, son. Where would we like to begin? Should we start with a bit of everywhere else, or do we just want to quickly pump out the Pels shit and then kind of go from there?
Let's pump out the Pels stuff, and then we can talk about the league-wide news.
All right. I mean, just before we quickly begin that, then just a quick note, reminder, especially because we got Tomiqi back up here. Just want to quickly shout out, fuck Ben Simmons.
Yeah, fuck Ben Simmons.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. But yeah, now that we've had that urgent breaking news out the way, let's continue with our regularly scheduled program.
Is knocking the Pels stuff out first your version of ripping off a Band-Aid?
Nowadays, unfortunately, yes. I guess that's the best way to say it. Yeah.
I mean, we got 2 wins. That's 2 more than we had before. So yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah. Sorry, I was gonna say James. Yeah, because we skipped last week recording too. So now we've got more wins coming back, right?
Yeah. I mean, we were sitting at I think 1-8. I want to say last time we recorded or so. And yeah, now we're 3-15. So more wins, but a lot more losses as well. So
yeah,
it's not looking too good for us.
Well, at least I believe there was a discussion on whether the Pels were better than the Rockets, and now we have confirmation, at least as of right now.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that stays the case. I was hoping that we'd be better than Detroit as well, but at least they're getting some wins as well.
All right.
Yeah, we got a lot of catching up to do, but definitely a lot of games to pump out. So we won't go through every single one of them. We'll just go through the ones that we watched. And if I'm being honest, there wasn't too many on my end. Probably last time we talked, I think we had just recorded after the Golden State game.
Bro, that was a rape, bro. I'm looking at the score right now, 85-126, bro. Like, fuck that, bro. Like, what were we doing recording at that point? Like, we are in no mentally correct stage at that, like, right after that. That's a traumatic experience, bro. 85-126 by the motherfucking, by like, Steph Curry and the boys, bro. You gotta admit, like, you guys see where I'm coming from, right? Like, I think we should have, like, taken a day off that day, James.
Well, that's probably why we took the week off right after.
Oh, yeah, true. Fair. Because I was going to say, bro, like, think about the young minds we're influencing with this podcast, bro. Like, I don't want that energy to be, creeping in there and shit. They're second doubting themselves as a Pelicans fan. And, because we can joke about the ropes and the cyanide, etc. But some young bloke in fucking California, age 12, listening to Pelbros, has Pelbros tattooed on him. He's gonna take it too seriously. You know what I mean?
Well, recording straight after a 41-point loss probably makes for some good content as well. On the other hand, which is I think that was around the time where you were starting to get like existential about basketball. Like, what the fuck even is this?
True.
Orange ball into
true. So. Yeah, Tommy, you do remind me of that because you were specifically saying how I was talking about like, what the fuck is this shit anyway? Like bouncing a fucking orange ball or something. Like what's this shit? So yeah, okay, that is true, Tommy. That is true, Tommy. There's a nice balance. We are still providing decent content with the Pelicans. Anyways, we're a bit going off topic here, but yeah, basically, yeah. The whole point of this entire, I guess, last 2 minutes is that, the last time we were speaking was that Pelicans versus Warriors game, which, we got dominated by fucking 41 points. And now here we are. Was it 2 weeks later, I guess, right? Which games do we want to discuss specifically, though? There's Mavs, Thunder, we lost to Nets, we actually beat the Grizzlies, though, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, from our last episode, when we looked at the predictions, we would have guessed that we would beat Oklahoma. We thought that was a sure thing. And I'm pretty sure we predicted that we'd potentially get that dub against Memphis. So looking at like a 2-2 week. Obviously that didn't pan out. Took a massive loss to Oklahoma, which is not ideal. They're not that great of a team and they're probably tanking, but still lost to them. And then like you said, got the dub against Memphis. For me, I only watched the game against the game against Brooklyn and Memphis. So, up to you which ones you want to talk about. And I watched the couple games after that as well, but we can go into that after.
I probably only watched the Grizzlies game, to be honest. Maybe I caught in for a bit of the Thunder game. I don't think I watched the Mavs game or anything, but the big like asterisks for the past week or so, like for that first week in which we had a hiatus, or even just like since the last time we recorded in general, there's been no BI, every motherfucker's been injured pretty much. And, but we've still been keeping it somewhat competitive, right?
Yeah, I think during that first week stretch, I was talking to you and telling you about how, we're pretty much like a first half team. So we pretty much get off to really good first halves, keep it competitive. And then, kind of let the game slip away, even if we have a lead. So the same thing in the Oklahoma game when kept it fairly competitive to the end. Didn't have that star to go to, clutch guy. And even the Brooklyn game, we kept it really competitive for the first 3 quarters. Pretty sure we had a lead at one point, which was pretty amazing. Thinking that we could potentially beat KD and Harden at that time, and then
and that's with no BI, no Zion either.
Yeah, still no BI at that point. I think we had a lead going into the 3rd or 4th quarter, and then what can I say? Then when the stars need to step up, they step up. But really quickly in that Brooklyn game, I think. That game was the first game I watched where I was like, Garrett Temple actually showing up and making some plays, going up against one of his previous teams. So bit of a shout out there and definitely respect. I could see him kind of earning his minutes. He's definitely shown those glimpses and moments that he can play. He can shoot the 3. Can't say the same thing for Satoransky, but Yeah.
Hey, bro, you still roasting this man, bro? Like, damn, bro.
Yeah, mate. Watch him on offense.
I thought we were cool with him, like, because I was like, yo, fuck that guy, because James doesn't like him. But then I'm a bit like, no, he's alright. But now I'm a bit like, if James still beefing, I got beef, I guess, too. Like, Tommy, do you have 2 cents with this? Like, with this Satoransky guy?
On Tom Satoransky, I believe that among a lot of Clippers fans, he was a trade/free agent target in the little period where they were struggling to get a sort of guy who would be like a true point guard to lead the offense until they kind of put all their chips on the Patrick Beverley, Reggie Jackson backcourt combo. I've always considered him as like a neutral observer to be just sort of a serviceable point guard, like not really excelling in anything, but not really having any downside, too many like strong downsides in terms of like passing or defense or shooting. Not really had a strong opinion on him one way or another. So I don't like, from the perspective of Pels fan, if you say he's been playing bad, I'll believe you. If you say he's been playing good, I'll believe you, because I've always seen him as just kind of like a middle of the line guy.
Yeah, I can see what you're talking about. So, Tommy, you're kind of more so saying like he's just like a kind of guy who's just there and just exists. Like there's no beef necessarily, right?
Well, yeah, and also like all the times I've seen him were in, say, like YouTube highlight videos of his tenure with the Chicago Bulls, and it would be always in like a positive context of them like leading a comeback against the Charlotte Hornets or something like that. And so I've never really, to seek out his lowlights or to see the downsides of his games, you'd have to actively watch him and on whatever team he's on. So I haven't had the pleasure of undertaking that.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I was gonna say I'll bring up the Satoransky. Like this isn't over just yet. I'll bring up the Satoransky guy for the one of our more recent games later on. But James, like, does that change your opinion on the Mr. Satoransky, or no? Fuck the cunt, still there.
No, mate. Just watch him play, man. He's definitely regressed from his Bulls days. I do know he was putting in, some decent minutes over there, but don't know what's happened while he's a Pelican. His offense is non-existent. But yeah, definitely not a shit on Satoransky game by any means or episode. Just a overall valiant effort against the Brooklyn Nets. Obviously didn't get the win, but I'll give them respects. This will be a recurring theme probably throughout this episode, but I've got to give a shout out to Josh Hart because man was forced to defend KD, James Harden at times, and he's not going to stop KD by any means, especially on like a fadeaway post up. But he put in the work, and I definitely saw moments where he's playing good defense, but it's just better offense. So Josh Hart, if you're listening to this, man, you've been killing it this week, 100%, like earning his minutes in the absence of the other guys.
Yeah, no, I gotta agree. Like ever since Josh Hart has been back, this season after his injury, right? The team has generally had a chance to potentially win games now. So big shout out to Josh Hart. Not even in just like the Nets game, the Grizzlies game, whatever bullshit, but all games since the last episode, pretty much, right?
Yeah,
like he's had a huge like fucking factor in there. But yeah, I mean, apart from that, what other games have happened since then? So just the Wizards, Heat, Clippers, and Pacers, right? Like 4 games after that. Unless, did you want to go into more detail with any other game?
Yeah, just quickly on the Memphis game.
Sorry.
I think obviously getting our second dub. I think we predicted. We were saying, pretty sure you said that we'd get that win if we got BI back. We've traditionally beaten Memphis. I think the stat is like ever since we've drafted Zion, we've beaten them every single time except once. Obviously, Ja Morant came in that draft as well. So yeah, I think we naturally got a bit of beef because he got the number 1 pick versus number 2 pick. Obviously, Zion's not healthy for this game, but yeah, still got the dub, 112, 101. Don't know what it is, but for whatever reason, we just play well against them. And for whatever reason, they seem to choke out against our team specifically. So Ja Morant, 22 points, but not necessarily carrying. The other person I want to highlight was Jaren Jackson Jr., who a lot of hype around him, but he was absolute trash this game. He went missing. So yeah, don't know what it is. We seem to have the number.
4 points, lad.
Yeah,
every day for him, 1 for 8 on the field. Yeah. So then, apart from the Memphis game, then like for the rest of the games, Wizards, Heat, Clippers, Pacers, and then is that tomorrow? Yeah, and then tomorrow we've actually got a game versus Timberwolves, but we won't talk about that just yet. Like, Tommy, have you fucking tuned into any Pelicans games?
Yeah, I watched the win against Memphis and the win against the Clippers, so perhaps some sort of Pelicans good luck charm in a way.
Yeah, true. You've only been tuning in for the W's. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, well, I've watched some of their losses earlier in the season, but like, yeah, in recent times, like when I watch them, they seem to play better than their record would indicate. And that's including games without Brandon Ingram as well.
Yeah, no, he gets it. Oh, like, okay, would you kind of agree to my theory that I'm having? Like, I think it's almost a blessing that we had BI and Zion dying this season, because it's forced, like, the rest of the fucking team to actually get somewhat decent. Alan, Josh Hart there too. Now we can actually start to potentially win games, right? And now after that, like, the system which is already starting to work, and like you said, like, we definitely play better than our record, like, would suggest. And then on top of that system that's already starting to kind of almost win, right? Now we're chucking BI there. Now we actually start to fucking win a game or two. And then after that, chucking fucking Zion, nigga, that's game. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. That's kind of a similar situation to the Clippers in some ways. Like for the point you were making about chucking BI and Zion back into it, that kind of like varies on how good they are as sort of like just plugging them back in, or if you need to bring their usage up and like take shots away from other players to sort of ramp them up, compared to someone like Kawhi Leonard, who just kind of like his efficiency will kind of stay the same no matter what. He doesn't really have to go through like a rust period. But like losing players who are, your best players, that's always going to be a net negative to your team's success. But there's pros and cons in everything. So, getting more shots up for the younger players and helping them develop in a season where, you're not in contention, you are trying to push for a play-in spot, but it's an 82-game season, the first one in quite a while, so there is time. But for instance, I know that they don't play the same positions, but if Brandon Ingram took 25 shots and Zion Williamson was back against the Clippers and he took those shots away from, for instance, Kira Lewis Jr., who scored 16 points against the Clippers, like, would that have been the same? Would that have, that contribution to his development as a player later down the line wouldn't have been there. So, like I said, there's pros and cons to everything.
Yeah, I definitely get what you mean. Like, I guess my kind of thing is, what I'm trying to say too is that, like, as opposed to the alternative, if we had Zion and BI healthy the entire time, exactly like you said, the rest of the team doesn't really get to, any minutes to develop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I also wanted to ask you guys, just as of like currently, your general thoughts on the weight thing with Zion Williamson.
I mean, probably James is a bit more vocal on that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts are, no doubt the guy's got to lose some weight. Just the way he plays, and you can't really be that kind of build, I reckon, and stay healthy if you're not gonna and stay fit. Sorry, if you're gonna be at, whatever they're predicting him to be. So definitely not gonna help him with injuries if he stays eating well. Probably enjoying the New Orleans food. Me and Ryan have talked many times about enjoying the New Orleans food and how we want to try that shit. Looks pretty amazing. So he's probably living his life, but yeah, definitely from the stories coming out, it doesn't seem ideal. Definitely. I think if anything, if he can get his fitness in check, his nutrition in check, he would just be healthier for many years to come.
It's a pretty nice answer. Like, for me, all I got is like, I don't necessarily like care about his weight necessarily. It's more so like I care about making sure that he's like not gonna get injured, like he's gonna have a healthy career, etc., etc. And if the weight so happens to be related to it, then so be it. But I'm not necessarily like, my main concern isn't the weight, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. It's like, because when you coming back and like getting your legs under you and getting into game shape, that's something that you accomplish with like practice and like contact and just getting a few games under your belt. But if part of it is also like a lifestyle thing, like he's eating a whole shit ton of gumbo and jambalaya and all this shit in New Orleans, then
let him embrace the culture, my friend.
Embracing the culture for sure. But then like if that's actually keeping him at 300 pounds, then there might need to be some degree of intervention in that regard, because that dude jumps out of the ceiling and landing and not even bending your knees, like 300 pounds, like something's got to give.
You know, you've just given me an idea. I need to see Zion Williamson in the cage. Like, I don't know, UFC, ONE FC, whichever promotion, Bellator, whoever, this needs to be done, bro. I'd pay good money to fucking watch Zion Williamson fucking in the cage. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I want to see him just kind of charge at Francis Ngannou and just see what happens.
Yeah, I was going to say the exact same guy because they got like similar haircuts and shit.
Okay, yeah.
You could argue.
Zion Williamson is just like a 4:3 aspect ratio version of Francis Ngannou.
Yeah. That's a perfect way to kind of say it. But yeah, I mean, I like to think he'd be all right. A lot of people kind of talk it up like, oh, you know, LeBron is a crazy athlete, which is agreed, obviously. But they're like, oh, you know, imagine if he was in MMA, if he was in boxing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't know. That's still going to be an itch, babe.
Yeah, this isn't a good comparison to draw, obviously, because it's like regular people. But there was that video of him knocking out like 3 or 4 dudes in a parking lot.
Who? LeBron?
Zion.
Oh, Zion. Oh, yo, what?
No, I
Have you heard
saw
about
that.
this, James?
Saw that
Yo.
video as well. Apparently, it wasn't him.
Yo.
Yeah.
Oh,
just the.
But it looks.
He
like
looks
him.
so
It
much like him.
Yeah, because when I saw that, I was like, damn, this is fucking sick. And then I saw some articles that was like confirmed it wasn't him and shit, but it actually fucking looks
it's
like
fake
him.
news.
Just some other 6'7", 270-pound dude with the same sort of.
I'm gonna put this
Yeah.
on right now.
It genuinely looks like him, and he just knocks out these blokes so easily. It's fucking mad.
Yeah,
Oh,
I figure that's how it
Zion
would go
is-
down with Zion
yeah.
anyway. If he wasn't such
Yeah.
like a a nice guy.
All right, I'm gonna say, yo, Jamie, bring that shit up, son. Sorry, boys. You just have to do a quick live recording of it. Oh, bro, he's forgot the kicks and shit too. Yeah, nah. Wait, okay. I'm just gonna skip through that. That legit does look like Zion. I'm not gonna lie. Even this guy's even like body, like he's like, you know how like Zion kind of like walks around like, you know, with his bum and shit like that. He's like all like wiggly and shit like that. You guys get what I'm talking about, right? I don't even know what do you call that, right? That guy's doing the exact same shit too. Like that's so Zion, bro. I don't care about these bullshit publications or something like that saying like, oh no, that's not Zion, fake news, da da da. Bro, there's definitely someone. That's fucking Zion, bro. Like, how is that not Zion?
Yeah, that's my headcanon that's Zion, and I can't be convinced otherwise.
Yeah, because the money that's telling you against that shit is, what do you call it? Zion's publicist and shit. I'm just saying, bro. This is the same guy. This is the same Zion Williamson. This is the Zion I know, bro. He's tearing it up in the chicks, like Snapchat DMs and shit. He's taking on like 4 versus 1 motherfuckers in the street, bro. That's what I say. This is the Zion I live for. So if the man wants to eat, let him eat. All right, that's all I say, bro. That's all I say.
Mate, man's not gonna be healthy if he's drinking Mountain Dew every day.
Hey, give him some Mountain Dew Light, bro.
Man, I hate that
Mountain
commercial
Dew.
that he did with Zach Levine
Sure.
for Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
And, like, because that shit does not make sense, that commercial. Like, why are they high-fiving each other when they're, like, playing against each other in 2K? I got a massive grievance with that commercial.
Yeah, like it just seems so like the only use of that commercial was to show Zion's new weight. I think.
Yeah, because that's all that anyone was
Right?
talking about.
yeah, right. Like
He's fucking. He was so wide, mate. That's
He
all
was
it is.
taking
Yeah,
up
yeah.
like 2.5 pieces of that 3-piece sofa.
yeah, even his face and shit. All right, okay. Sorry, gentlemen. So let's kind of get back to this shit. Quickly pump out this shit. So, Tommy, you were saying that you watched the Pels versus Grizzlies game. Then, do you have anything that you would like to chip in apart from what James has told us before?
Yeah,
Any words of wisdom?
the Grizzlies, I believe that the Pelicans kind of neutralized the Grizzlies in a way that the Clippers failed to do. It's like Jonas Valanciunas still kind of got his. He went 15-9, but compared to what he got against the Clippers, like 26-13, the Pelicans,
He went crazy.
they kind of used their size against the Grizzlies in the way that the Clippers couldn't, because like the Clippers have their only true center is like Ivica Zubac, and I think that Jonas Valanciunas is just a little bit tougher than Zubac. So when he goes up against another big boy like Steven Adams, I think that that's like an important part of it. The wing play is also important. I believe that the Pelicans players kind of sort of outplay the Grizzlies wing players. Ja Morant probably got his. I think he had like 22 points and he almost had like a triple-double. but I believe it came down to the clutch. And it was just a matter of making shots in that game. The Pelicans, see, like this goes back to what I was saying. Like when I watch the Pelicans, they make their shots when it matters, and their star players come through when it matters. So like I don't see a 2-12 or 3-15 team when I watch them play. Like from what I see a team that like really should be in a play-in position, and hopefully like as things kind of even out, I don't know if the law of averages has something to do with this, or like they'll regress to the mean of like their talent level, because their talent level is higher than their record indicates. But like when I watched that game, I saw them just outplay and just be a better team than the Memphis Grizzlies on that night. And the Memphis Grizzlies are now like floating around the 500 range. So like, I'm not trying to say that records aren't properly indicative, but I think the Pelicans like play way above their record. I think that the game against the Grizzlies is kind of indicative of that.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Like basically, the thing is, man, is like, yeah, cheers with the kind words, but it's a long season after all. Like you said, first 82 game season in a while. So we've got plenty of time. Having to face this freaking like KO'd, just crazy hard difficulty schedule at the beginning hopefully means that as the season plays out, it gets a lot easier as our team gets much better too. So who knows? Maybe we would be, like you said, trying to snatch that play-in tournament spot. And
I'm also aware of like the crazy level of variance that a team can have, like in how they play on any given day in the regular season. Like the Clippers could beat, say the Nets or the Suns or like another high-performing team, and then like a few days later they might just get straight out played by the Houston Rockets, just because the Houston Rockets make their shots and play a little bit harder on defense. So I'm aware, like for instance, the Pelicans outplaying the Grizzlies on like a play-to-play level. The context obviously aside of them having BI versus not having BI, but like then they can also before that get straight up outplayed by the Oklahoma City Thunder. So like the regular season can be crazy, and so I guess that's just something always you have to take into account when you're looking at the results like every day.
Yeah, fair call. Anything that you'd like to chip in, Mr. James?
Nah, we've been on this game for like 20 minutes. Let's go to the Clippers game.
Right. I was going to say the exact same thing. We'll just jump straight to the Clippers because I think all three of us have watched the Clippers, like the Clippers game, the Clippers versus Pelicans game.
Yep.
So, yeah, I reckon just like skip all the other fucking games. Let's just talk about that.
Yeah, give us your thoughts, Ryan.
Oh, shit. All right. I mean, I'm just happy we actually won it. Especially at the end. I mean, what's it called? Kind of like what Tommy was saying. Valanciunas, man, was killing it this game. 26 and 13. BI was still there, stepping up. But like you said too, Josh Hart, as per usual, just killing it nowadays. I want to say though, with that game, the only kind of thing I can take away from that, I mean, from all the games maybe where we actually won or were doing quite competitive, maybe I reckon later on we should be looking at like how many turnovers we had, because I'm pretty sure this was like a quote-unquote like low turnover game for us with the Clippers, so that was good. Because I think from what I was gathering, I only watched the second half of it, but from what I was gathering, the Clippers were just not having a fucking good game, and the Pelicans just did enough to not like kill ourselves and lose it, and that's kind of like I was like miring Willie Green, maybe let's say more so in the fourth quarter and shit, just to kind of like do smart plays to make sure that we actually end up like winning the fucking game. Because last season with SVG and shit, right? I think we were the number one guys, and it was like a crazy record in terms of like we're up by like 15 or something like that going into the fourth, and then we fucking blow it. So it feels good to finally have a coach. I mean, maybe I've just seen just from this one game though, the Clippers, right? But I mean, in general, I'm still seeing like Willie Green, be smart with the game, right? But what I'm trying to say specifically for this Clippers game though, right? In the fourth, he was making sure like we were doing the things we needed to do to make sure we win, if that makes sense. So I was happy we won.
Yeah, pretty good summary. I mean, I think what you mentioned, although, when you look at the box score, it looks like Valanciunas 26 and 13 absolutely killed it. But I think if anything, this was a Josh Hart MVP game. But he just came up with the plays, right? He came up with the plays that mattered. He hustled for important boards. He got 19 and 10 double-double, which we like to talk about a lot, how he's sort of that 10 and 10 guy. And every so often, he'll just have like a 20-point, 10 rebound game. So grabbing boards, hustling is what he does. Playing pretty good defense. But yeah, like you said, definitely a Clippers rough game for them. From my take, it definitely looked like they were just tired. Paul George shot pretty poorly, but that goes for the rest of the team. Yeah, you can't really win a basketball game if you're shooting 38%, 24% from three.
Wait, James, don't forget your best mate too, Bledsoe, right? You're saying was
Oh yeah.
Fuck me.
Because both Tommy and James, you both said it to me something about Bledsoe that game. It's fucking funny. You guys were saying the same kind of thing.
Yeah, Bledsoe 100% secret agent, still working for the Pelicans. Even David Griffin.
He always loved us, bro.
Even David Griffin came out and said some cheeky shit about how when he brought on Bledsoe, Bledsoe's promises from his camp that he was going to help the Pelicans win games, and today he did. When he talked about this game,
yo.
I mean, honestly,
bro, that's petty, bro. That's
it
petty,
is,
bro.
it is.
Just let that one go, David Griffin, bro. Like, you're supposed to be running that fucking franchise to a fucking championship, bro. What's this guy beefing for? That?
Yeah, I mean,
David Griffin has the
laugh.
bants. Sorry.
Last laugh.
David Griffin has the bants. He's like because like Daryl Morey in terms of like front office people, I think Daryl Morey is one of the most popular or well known with like what he says to the media. But I think David Griffin is kind of like a less delusional, more head screwed on version of Daryl Morey. Like when he comments about players in like a very candid way. So I appreciate that about him.
Fair enough. Yeah, because I was just like, bro, what's the point of the beef though, right? Like, but if it seems that it's all in good faith, then I can't complain.
Now I've got beef with Eric Bledsoe again because I thought that he was gonna pop off against this former team, especially because in the games leading up to this Pelicans game, he's had some really solid games. But I don't know, he's probably just it's gonna be like another hot and cold season for him. Mostly cold because thus far he's averaging career lows in a fair few, like a large number of stats, but like there's been a patch in the past, maybe let's say 10 days or so, where particularly home games, he's shot the three well, he's made the right plays, he's pretty much every game he's played, maybe not a first or second team all NBA defense level, but he's really like he's made defensive impacts. But it seems like so far this season, road games, he's just shit. So, but we'll see how that develops.
I was going to ask you then, so how do you rate your current experience with Bledsoe so far this season?
I'll give him a C+ so far, and it would have been a C- or a D+ if not for the aforementioned recent hot streak of games at Staples where he's like legitimately contributed in big ways to wins. He's a good defender. He does seem to hustle. It doesn't really seem like an effort issue. Other than times where he might seem to settle for like a jump shot when there might, there's like 8 seconds left on the clock and you can probably make a play. Because, a Bledsoe contested jump shot off the dribble is probably like the thing we want the least in the Clippers offense. I know Kawhi Leonard's out, but there are still some other offensive weapons. But he's still fast. He's still the freak of nature that he's been in the league for a while, and I'll give him credit for that. Like he's seemed to have gotten faster somehow as he's gotten older. But that's just he's an outlier athlete in a league already full of outlier athletes.
He's on the pads.
He is, yeah. See, the mini LeBron nickname that was from like his very first year in the league, and I don't know. He's probably been in contact with the PED supplier that LeBron seems to have lost contact with. So that's good for him. That's good for him. That's done him wonders because if he'd lost 2 or 3 steps, Lord knows where he'd be in any team's rotation right now, Eric Bledsoe. But I he's got time to figure it out. He's not been atrocious, but he's not been first All NBA defensive team, starting point guard on a championship contender, Eric Bledsoe either.
Okay, I mean, all I'll say quickly for that then is that I guess that's probably good for me and James to hear. Like, as petty as it may seem, we're like, oh, at least he's still struggling, Like, we're not the only fucking guy struggling, like the Pelicans itself, but some of the ex-players are struggling too, which feels good because Bledsoe was the number 1 hated enemy last season. But yeah, apart from that, then Tommy, any 2 cents when it comes to the actual game versus the Pelicans that we had?
Yeah,
we haven't already said.
Yeah, James made a point about how the Pelicans are sort of a first half team, I believe. it was. I think that also shocked the Clippers how the Pelicans started slow, but then started hitting more of their shots and making better plays as the game went on. Because it seemed like the Clippers, after the first quarter, where the Pelicans might have scored something only like 16 points, they might have thought that the Pelicans were going to like lay down at home or something. And that like doubles up on the disappointment in that regard, because the Clippers have found success on the second half of back-to-backs, particularly after the first leg of a back-to-back is a loss. They seem to come out and like hit more of their shots, play with some more urgency so that they don't lose two straight. But it just did not seem to happen here against the Pelicans. Part of it was the Pelicans hustling a bit more because the Clippers were a little bit tired. Josh Hart taking advantage of that. They were abusing Ivica Zubac, particularly where Jonas Valanciunas was hitting his jump shots, forcing Zubac to come out of the paint and opening the lane for their wings and their guards. I believe Valanciunas hit 5 threes. That was a massive contributor to the end result. The game was kind of out of hand already, like at the start of the first quarter, where the Clippers were trying to like dig into that 14-point lead, and then the Pelicans pushed it out to like 17. And then with 10 minutes left in the game, it had already seemed like the Clippers had given up. So it was really just that kind of game.
Yeah, just a bad game. But it's a shame because I was saying to James, this W versus the Clippers, that's great. It's gonna like change the mood in the locker room. It's gonna redefine our season. And then the very next day, we lose to the Pacers 111-94. I didn't catch a split second of it. What about you, James?
No, I didn't catch it, but yeah, pretty much same thing on your thoughts. It was funny because obviously you get a win and then they interview the players and all they talk about is, definitely building up a lot of confidence. We know what we need to do to get the wins. And then, they put up a performance against the Pacers that I don't think that game was really close at all, to be honest. So, overall, maybe, again, just another blip potential. Like Tommy was saying, regular season's 82 games, it's a beast. And Clippers were just way too tired and Pelicans took advantage of that. Overall still a good dub and keeps us a bit sane. Lets us put on maybe a fake smile, but we try to stay alive for the rest of the season. This definitely helps.
Yeah, all I'll say to wrap up, I guess all the games so far is that the real reason why we lost to the Pacers is just because we don't have a Drew Holiday anymore. So we don't have that armor, because usually it's all the 3 Holiday brothers battling with each other. So we no longer have Drew. So you got to cop those L's because we are owing. We've taken so many W's from the Pacers. So, let them have it. I don't give a shit. All right. So should we just kind of like wrap up the rest of the month then? Go for a couple of predictions here.
Yeah, let's do it.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games left for the month. So you want to go through them one by one?
Yeah.
Just real quickly, right? So Timberwolves versus Pelicans. Wait, is that our home? That's our home.
Yeah. 2 home games. Next, Minnesota. I think we'll get the win there. I'm feeling confident now. We got BI back.
True. I like how you're speaking. I mean, because we found our groove more than we were at the beginning of the season, and we've already taken a W off of Timberwolves before. I reckon we can most definitely take that W. What do you reckon, Tommy? Any 2 cents?
Yeah, I agree with that. And also, the Timberwolves are like a kind of very up and down team. They'll win 1 or 2, and then they'll just kind of fizzle out for like the next 6 or 7 games. They're on pace for that. Assuming this isn't actually part of a larger winning streak that they're on suddenly. They've won 3 straight. And their last game, I think they destroyed the Grizzlies by 43 points. So there's a chance that their hot shooting from that game could carry over, but with how inconsistent a team they are, I think that it's more likely it's a scenario where they fall back down to earth coming into New Orleans.
Okay, this is actually at 12 p.m. game tomorrow. Like, okay, I'm 100% fucking watching this game, right? Like, because I'm just like, oh shit, this is actually gonna be pretty fucking intense because we're both equally as shit that we could actually win it. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be a competitive game. What do you reckon, James? You gonna tune in tomorrow?
Probably won't be able to, but echoing everything Tommy said, I think definitely they had a hot shooting night, a massively hot shooting night against Grizzlies. I don't think they can maintain that. Yeah, I hope Anthony Edwards shoots bricks all day and all night long. Cool. Washington
This guy's
game.
hating, bro.
Any thoughts around that?
I reckon we could take that one, bro. Like, as if, yeah. Like, I reckon, like, I'm going fucking positive, cause like, fucking, you know, let's do it, cause I know obviously Wizards have been killing it, but just that was it. One of the games just over the last week was versus the Wizards. Apparently, we didn't lose too hard, 100-105. Like, why the fuck not? Let's win it. Yeah, let's get another one off them. I'm saying 2 W's so far. What about you guys?
Yeah, I'm gonna ride that train as well. I actually think
Because
I actually watched.
I
I watched that Wizards game, and it was actually a really close game. Pretty frustrating game. I wanted to throw my phone out the window by the time we lost, just because of how close we had it, and we actually had a lead going down into, I think, the third and the fourth quarter, and we just ended up throwing it from some stupid plays and BI missing some clutch shots. So yeah, I think we can do a bit of a revenge game, home game, and get the dub over the Wizards.
Are we being too optimistic here, though? Like, I'm like, wait, hold the fuck up, son. Like, we're saying 2-0 as of right now. Like, is this too optimistic, James? Like, do we want to change our opinion? Like, it's, you know, it's okay if we want to, but we need to do it now. Do we want to agree on 2-0? I'm going with 2-0.
I'm gonna keep it because I know the next 3 games I'm gonna call L's.
Okay, fair. Yeah, I didn't see that. Yeah, my bad. Fair. Okay, and then what about you, Tommy? Would you agree that we could potentially take the Wizards?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you guys there. I think that Brandon Ingram probably won't miss those clutch shots against the same team twice in a row. I think he generally plays well against the Wizards. I'm not really sure who they have on the wing that can contain him. Like, are they going to chuck Kyle Kuzma on him? Probably not. If they do, it's barbecue chicken. I think Jonas Valanciunas is probably going to have a better game than he did. He went 16-9 against the Wizards. I think he might up that again, because I don't think that Daniel Gafford is a great matchup, and Montrezl Harrell is obviously too small. So their center rotation, I think that Jonas Valanciunas should look to abuse a little bit more. Also, Nickeil Alexander-Walker is probably due for a better performance against them. He had 4-4-4 in 28 minutes, and so, you know, depending on his usage, obviously, I think that I might keep an eye on him in that game.
But that's actually some pretty decent betting tips, to be honest. I might, you know, this week may be the week I finally have the confidence again to start betting on the Pels. Like, because I had been like hurt too much recently, but you know, from what you guys are saying, that's true. I should keep my eye on North for that specific game, because he has been having a bit of like a cold streak, everything like that. But like you said, I guess in his previous encounter versus the Wizards, for sure, let's see this man step it up. I was gonna say before we move on to these next couple of games, because the next games after that is just we got a back-to-back with best mates, fucking Jazz at their home. What do you reckon with that then? You two boys, I'm going to hit this.
Yeah, I'll be quick. Both L's. We traditionally play really poorly against Utah, you know, unless BI has like a 49-point game. Both games are at Utah, which is the very solid home court team. And then yeah, we've never done well on a back-to-back. Look at the Indiana game. Look at any other game that we've talked about this year, maybe except for that Memphis game. Our back-to-backs are our kryptonite. I'll throw it over to Tommy.
Yeah, it could be one of those scenarios where two teams play each other in the same building 2 nights in a row, and the home team, in this case the Jazz, don't come out guns blazing early enough, and the Pelicans could sneak up on them, or they blow their load early on this double leg, and then the Pelicans just kind of outfight them in the second game, and it ends up a 1-1 series. But I think it's much more likely that the Jazz take it 2-0, particularly because Donovan Mitchell always plays out of his mind at home, and he never takes his foot off the gas. So I'm looking at Donovan Mitchell having big games against the Pelicans in both of these games. Rudy Gobert and Valanciunas should be a good big man matchup. Gobert probably takes those. Also, the Jazz are looking to get some statement wins, because they've sort of been up and down in the last few games after being first in the West. Now Phoenix have overtaken them. We know that the Jazz care a lot about the regular season. They're always a great regular season team. So I think that the Pelicans are going to feel the brunt of that.
Yeah, nah, fair call. My only 2 cents with this shit is, yeah, I agree. It's probably going to be a back-to-back loss. Doesn't mean that they're not going to be competitive, the games, probably to a certain point. However, it's a shame, because I remember back in the days, you know, we used to be very, very competitive with the Jazz. Like, you know, we could take the fucking W's of the Jazz, even when we were recording the Pelbros too. So it's a shame that those days, you know, the Jazz have just completely fucking elevated themselves over the past few years, and we've just kind of stayed as the Pelicans, I guess. But yeah, like who knows? Cheers to better days where we become on the same level in which we can be, fucking around with the last season's first seed in the West kind of team. But yeah, that's definitely a 0-2. So far, 4 games, 2 for 2, right?
Yeah, final game with LA to cap off the rest of the month. Well, rest of our month. It might be for me,
it might be a day or two off.
Yeah, it might be a day or two off.
Yeah. Fucking whatever. Yeah.
But for me, I'm gonna call this as a loss. Road game, like another road game, so we got to travel, and then also, I don't think the Clippers will have another poor of a shooting night. And yeah, that's all I can say.
One concession to make, I guess, with this game is that the Pelicans are also going to catch the Clippers again on the second leg of a back-to-back. I think the day before this, they're playing the Warriors at 7:30 a.m. our time. A good thing about that, at least, is that both of these games are going to be in Staples Center, so they won't have to travel. So, the Clippers are one of the older teams in the league. Not Lakers old, but old nonetheless. So they could be tired again, but they're playing way better at home. Not just in terms of record, but in terms of shooting percentages and turnovers than they are on the road. And I'd like to. My heart and my brain are both telling me that it's probably going to be a Clippers win. Maybe not a blowout. It could be close yet again because they've had some nail biters. But I've got the Clippers for this one.
Okay. Yeah. No, sorry, boys. I'm probably gonna have to. I think we'll go for that 2-win streak, and then just a loss streak of 3, including the Clippers. I think that's an L versus the Clippers. That's all I can say.
I appreciate that.
Who knows? Who knows though? Maybe Zion could be coming in the next week or so.
You're optimistic, mate. Too optimistic.
If there was a universe where Zion came back against the Clippers, I know that personally my team have I know that nobody on any team could stop him, but he would fucking destroy the Clippers. Because they can't put Paul George on him, because then he's going to break every bone in Paul George's body. His shoulders, he's going to go back to needing metal shoulders for the 5th time. Zubac's going to get ran over. So yeah, morbidly, I'm glad that Zion's out for the time being as a Clippers fan.
I hope he comes back in December. What do you reckon, James? I mean, all we're doing here is just kind of guessing, I guess. But surely, right? He'll come back in December.
I don't think he's doing proper training yet. I think he's slowly moving towards contact drills, and that's never a good sign when you're deep into November. I mean, if we saw something more out of him in terms of him training, him getting up shots in between games and stuff, I'd be a bit more optimistic about it. But yeah, I don't expect too much from me personally.
Shit, that's heavy days, my friend. That's heavy days. I was gonna say though, so I guess since we've done all the fucking Pelicans bullshit, Tommy did mention the Staples Center, right? The Clippers are still sharing the ground with, right, or the home court with the Lakers. But yeah, is it official yet? The name change to Crypto.com Arena, or is that happening next season? Do you guys know?
I don't believe it's happened yet. I believe that the business acquisition has occurred, but as for when it's going to take place, I'm trying to recall at the moment.
I've got no idea either. Do know obviously there's a bit of controversy. Not everyone's happy with it. Staples is pretty iconic. But I mean, it's probably my ignorance. Is Staples also a business, a company? Because pretty much all stadiums are named after a business. They buy the rights to it and shit.
Like Mercedes-Benz.
So as much as a lot of stadiums are iconic, it ends up being stadium names are iconic. Ends up being a business anyway. So obviously, I don't think about it and then think, I'm gonna buy crypto or whatever. I'm gonna buy. I don't know about Smoothie King and shit, but yeah. To me, it's not that. I mean, it's not that controversial to me. It's just a shit name. That's just my kind of thoughts around it. But yeah, I'll let you as a Clippers fan who's got to see this pretty much for half the games of the year comment on it.
Yeah. Well, as for the name Staples, I think that it came from the office supply company. Something like however many years ago, when it opened, really, or like a couple of years after that, like 99. And then it's just kind of been kept around as that. I'm not really too attached to the name. I understand how people living in the greater LA area would be much more emotionally attached, especially diehard basketball fans who have to preface something if they're, for instance, having a conversation about like, oh, Staples was so lit that one time, blah, blah, blah. I mean, crypto.com. And so like it strips away. I might just echo Paul George's sentiment. It is a name, but stripping history away from the building always makes it a little bit weird, a little bit awkward. It changes how conversations about the building and the arena and everything that took place in it throughout its rich basketball history, how that goes. But from the perspective of the Clippers, they won't be there hopefully for too long. 3 more years until they move into Intuit Arena in Inglewood. The name itself, Crypto.com Arena, I also think it's shit. The caveat that came with that was the memes that came with it, like Le Bitcoin. So that was at least funny. But as for like a serious basketball arena, it's Crypto.com Arena. It's just too testamental to how trash venue names and business names and just branding in general is these days. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it, and I'm not against crypto. I'm not against Bitcoin. I'm not against any of that, but it just seems kind of goofy. Yeah, I'm not a fan. It's gonna look stupid as hell when they like have to put like a URL in big ass letters on top of the building. I can't wait to see how that looks. But other than that, yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah. I was gonna say though, like just a few more details on the move, because I do agree with you guys. Like, I think the Paul George thing is a quite mature kind of way to look at it all, to be honest. But I do agree. I wouldn't necessarily say it's like hugely, oh my god, like controversial. Like I'm gonna like go and protest or anything. Like I don't give a shit at the end of the day. But like it is definitely gonna be fucking weird saying Crypto.com Arena or some shit. I think. Honestly, guys, we could have maybe said like Crypto.com Dome, Center. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like there's different kind like stadium, Crypto.com Stadium, Arena. I don't know which one works the best, but either way, yeah, I do agree. It's just a bit cheesy, tacky. I feel. Apart from that, the more details to the actual deal. Apparently, it is a 20-year deal, and Crypto.com is actually based from Singapore. And so basically, these guys are paying $700 million dollary dues. That's what we call it in Australia, actually. To pretty much have the name of the arena for 20 years. Apparently, I think I haven't looked into more details than that, but that's kind of the gist of what I'm currently googling.
Wow, and apparently it's taking place on Christmas.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I did see that too. Yeah.
So they're not wasting much time.
Yo, but that's what I'm trying to say. Like these guys are making some like proper fucking plays, bro. And I gotta respect the fact, like like with I guess the way they're conducting business, it's like speed. You know what I mean? Like just like fucking that, it's it's fucking done. It's not just like, oh yeah, bro, let's talk about it. It's it's speed. So I can respect that. But apart from that, I still hold the same sentiments. Like yeah, it is a bit gaze. The name.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, it kind of just shows that whole branding, marketing, corporate influence in the world. But I think in the end, when it comes to like the regular like layman's like us, we're just still going to call it Staples, and then like officially it'd be called Crypto.com. So yeah, I don't think it takes away too much out of anything. And like I said, I don't imagine most people see that name and then decide to go on Crypto.com and become a member or whatever it is you do, and go buy crypto. They just see it as a name for a stadium.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Agreed.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I mean, speaking about the Lakers and LeBron James, like pretty much just like fucking up everything. And he should go to jail because he's a criminal. He's a scum.
He's a communist.
You guys see what he did today? Yeah, he's a communist too.
But also, he's assault with a deadly weapon. His fist.
Did you guys see that shit today? James, right? You saw him. Oh yeah. Sorry. I've talked with both of you guys about it today. How he, just out of nowhere, the savage, the criminal scum, lock him up, the dog. He just freaking elbows the fuck out of what's his face, Isaiah Stewart in the Detroit Pistons. Don't worry, guys. I only found out about it today also. And what do you call it? Bang! Like this motherfucker was bleeding crazy, bro, and he's like full running at him, bro. Like when people, how in Australia, we're always being like, oh, run at me, bro. This motherfucker was running, bro. You guys, bro. I'm just saying, it's a top tier video, and I'm just saying, bro. Like LeBron should be getting suspended for that. He should be thrown in jail. Is my opinion, mate. What about your guys' opinion on that? He's a criminal.
Yeah, Tommy, I'll let you start with this one.
There were like 100 pertinent things in that video that made it so much funnier than like it was when you first watch it happen live. There's the fact that, okay, he gets hit in the face and then he gets in LeBron's face, and then like as everything's sort of developing, the blood is starting to trickle down his face as if he just got trucked by like a hard out left hook. Like there's blood coming out his eye, there's like blood pouring, like it's pouring down into his mouth and then down his neck. Like it looks like he actually got into a brawl. But what it just was like I'm going to call it incidental in a way. I think LeBron was making like a get the fuck off me motion when they were going for the box out. But he just happened to smack him in the face. It was probably worth a flagrant too, because it was excessive. But I think LeBron just kind of also suffered from not knowing that Isaiah Stewart his face was really close to where he was going to bring his arm out like that. Then there's also the fact that he gets in LeBron's face and then waits a bit, and then his rage just kind of builds up after like 20 seconds. And then when everyone is between them, that's when he starts trying to bulldoze his way to LeBron, and he's knocking over his own like assistant coaching staff. And like these are old people. These look like people in their 50s, these coaches. And like he's knocking them down and they're hitting the floor. And like it looks like real impacts are going on. And then on the other side of everything, there's DeAndre Jordan, who's playing like a tight end or a defensive end like in the NFL. He's got the wide stance. There's Russell Westbrook getting ready to fight a guy who's like 6'10", 200 and however many pounds. He's got like some kind of Mortal Kombat fighting stance. There's Anthony Davis just kind of confused as to what the hell's going on. He's tripping over the people that Stewart's knocking over. He might be a little bit shook just because the vibrations that are happening on the court might like cause his legs to shatter into Mr. Street Clothes. Then there's the part where they have to send him to the back, and then like before all that, he's tries to go at LeBron like 3 more times by doing the fake I'm cool, and then like he jukes the person who's holding him back. In this case, it's Cade Cunningham, the rookie, like being the real leader of the team and like actually trying to stop this man from crushing everybody on the floor in his fucking primal rage. Then he goes to the back and he starts like running through the back. So we're assuming that he's trying to run through the tunnel to come out the other side to charge at LeBron. And then so you just see like the Lakers players looking at their end of the tunnel to see if he's actually going to come out. I'm going to assume that like the dude's an idiot and got lost or something, rather than the more likely thing, which is like he got stopped by everybody. But yeah, then LeBron gets sent off for a flagrant 2. Was that possibly the first flagrant 2 he's gotten in his career? I believe he's like had a reputation for not being he only got ejected for the first time in his career like maybe one or 2 seasons ago. But yeah, it's a real rarity for it to happen to him. Isaiah Stewart's probably going to get suspended for 1 or 2 games just for his display of anger or whatever the hell. But yeah, it's a multifaceted fucking display of hilarity and autism, and it was like for me, it was like the biggest news of the last couple days in the league, even in the wake of like Luke Walton being fired and all this other shit. It was just so fucking funny.
True that. I mean, we can get into that in a second too, but yeah, what about you, James, then, mate? What are your 2 cents on it all, man? Do you reckon he belongs in jail? Because it doesn't sound like Tommy's kind of like, nah, just keep it chill. keep it in the game, whatever. But I still see it as assault, bro. I see it as a felony. What about you, James?
Yeah, I agree. I think lock him up. Probably
Probably
pictured Isaiah Stewart was Enes Kanter and just wanted to give him a bit of a left hook. No, I think definitely worth flagrant 2. Probably maybe not necessarily intentional, but just reckless. Yeah, a lot of shoving, pushing around at the free throw line, and then just swinging the arms, swinging the elbows around. It's just at that height, it's just obviously quite reckless. Look, I know a lot of people are memeing and talking shit about Isaiah Stewart. He shouldn't have gone after them after LeBron so many times. I kind of respect that he did. One thing I don't like in the NBA is that whenever there's beef, they end up getting in like shoving matches and like never really throwing any punches or any of that shit. A good example of that would be Miles Turner and Rudy Gobert a couple weeks ago. That was like a hugging match, even though they were like pissed off at each other. They pretty much just like walked up to each other and started hugging each other. I thought that was ridiculous. If you're gonna get angry at someone, just throw a punch. Seriously, not condoning any violence, but it is what it is. That's what we want to see.
And some were saying that Isaiah Stewart was kind of faking that because he got in LeBron's face and then everyone got between him and then he started running at him. But if you could see that there was a motion where he was trying to throw a punch, but his teammates already had like his arms kind of bound to his hips. So he was wanting to legitimately fight LeBron James at that point.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. Just see a proper fight. But yeah, it is what it is. At least on this, man's made a bit of a name for himself.
Yeah,
probably in a bad way, but who cares, right? At least stand up for yourself. Don't take that shit, even if he's the poster boy of the NBA somewhat. Fuck it, just go for it.
And it was good. Isaiah Stewart made history. It was a hold me back moment where he actually did need people to hold him back, and it wasn't just like hold me back. They had to hold him back. So it was a beautiful moment.
He was legit going for it, bro. It was like NFL. He was like go. He's like full, like he was like running for the next, and then he's getting stopped again. Kind of like what Tommy said, getting stopped back 3 times or so, getting half the juke, bro. Bro, man was on a mission, So respect to him, but because of him too, I gotta say, you could almost argue, bro. The Detroit Piston, bad boys is back, bro. I'm just saying, cause like that's the publicity I would spin it with for this guy. I reckon it's definitely good for his career. The Isaiah Stewart. Now it's kind of just like, you're gonna step up, cause like these next like whilst you have the spotlight on you, is it going to be another like Linsanity moment? Now it's going to be like Stewarity. How do you even say Linsanity? Stewarity? No, I can't even. You get what I'm
Yeah. Well, his nickname is Beef Stew.
Beef Stew.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now he's got beef with LeBron, so now the beef is a double entendre.
That's the thing. An enemy of my enemy is my friend. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah.
And if I were Dwayne Casey, I'd give him like a few more plays where he cuts to the rim because obviously he's got the movement.
Yeah, he's a good man. I was gonna say that. So whilst we're still talking about the Detroit Pistons, real quick, we do need to drop a quick shout out to our boy, dear friend, Frank Jackson. He served how many loyal years of service for the Pelicans? Maybe like 3-4 years, James, right? Frank Jackson.
So that's about right. Yeah, 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. It's a shame that we no longer have him on our team, but it's good to see. I saw just this week he's starting to maybe find his role or like thrive in Detroit. But obviously that could it's just been the last week. Maybe it's a bit too soon to say. But in a close game, in which they lost 105-102 to Golden State Warriors just this week, Frank Jackson was going 27 points, bro. 3 steals. So shout out to the man, And apart from that, he's versus Lakers, another loss. He got 15 points. So shout out. Hopefully, that remains consistent for him because, like Tommy even mentioned, the Cade Cunningham guy. I know a lot of people got like stock in him, I guess, to potentially help revive the Pistons franchise and shit. So it'd be great to see if maybe Frank Jackson has a proper role there. If he can actually develop his game, he grows there. Because as much as I like Frank Jackson, we've got Noah, we have all these other pieces. We already have too many fucking other quote unquote like Frank Jackson alternatives. So I'm just very happy to see him do his thing.
Yeah, if anything, I think that whole drama with the LeBron beef kind of took away from a very, very good performance from Detroit. They were actually leading for a lot of the game, and then it all came undone in that fourth quarter. But yeah, overall, I was hoping for them to win. I love seeing the Lakers in crisis mode, and a loss to Detroit definitely would have put them there. But yeah, I'm really high on Jeremy Grant, so definitely some opportunities for Detroit to get some dubs. But yeah, would have been good to see Malice in the Palace v2. But yeah, definitely shout out to Frank Jackson. He's rocking like a little dirty mo at the moment.
Porn star, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's excited to see him. I've always said that if he can get the minutes, he'll definitely put in the points. So yeah, massive shout out.
Yeah, 33 minutes against the Warriors. In a loss, he had a plus minus of 20, plus 20. So
well, there you go, mate. There you go. Hopefully, good things are coming for him in the near future. Yeah, but apart from that, then I just want to talk about shit across the league a bit. I'm looking at the current, I guess, standings. Like, first off, we are still, we are clearly above Houston now. We're no longer tied record. Houston is 1 win and 15 losses, and they're on a loss streak of 14. And then second last in the West is us. We are 3 wins and 15 losses. So, that's good news to report. Apart from that, though, I did want to discuss Chicago. Chicago is actually the number 1 seed, tied with Brooklyn, I guess, but they're just above Brooklyn. In the East, you guys been catching any Bulls games?
Yeah, for myself here and there, been catching some games. I definitely was never as hyped as others for this Bulls team. I thought their defense wouldn't be that great, but yeah, they've proven me wrong, made me eat my words. DeMar's having potentially an all-star season. I'm glad to see him finding some success.
He should be all-star for sure, son. Come on.
Yeah, that team right now is just gelling. It's pretty crazy. The only thing I do want to call out is I know I see so many fans giving the Pelicans shit for not signing Lonzo or not re-signing him when he has a good game. But honestly, if you look at the stats, it's not like Lonzo's having a all-star season himself or anything. His averages are actually quite similar to what he's had in the past. But yeah, pretty much after every game where he has a decent game, people just look for the opportunity to shit on the Pels, which, yeah, I know is pretty unfair, but it is what it is. Look, the man didn't want to play with us anymore. He wanted to go to a big market. He would have been happier away from the Pelicans, so, it is what it is. That's pretty much my 2 cents.
I also think that this is like a better role for him, you know what I mean? As opposed to what he has here in the Pels. I think, it's great what they've got in Chicago. What about you, Tommy? You've been catching their games?
Yeah, I caught their game against the Knicks today, and yeah, I guess I just have to echo you guys' sentiment on their defense being surprisingly good, even though many people were expecting it to be good. It's better than expected, and DeMar DeRozan, definite all-star. Honestly, he shouldn't win MVP. Zach LaVine shouldn't win MVP, but he should be somewhere low on that ladder. Just because if MVP could be split into 2 people, their numbers are eerily similar to each other, and they're both averaging something like 26. They're bar none the best 1-2 punch in the league, and they just play off each other very interestingly. I think having Lonzo there and then Caruso off the bench as a facilitator here and there helps them gel together better, even though they're both ball handlers. But it's just crazy how their numbers are almost to a few decimal points of each other efficient. I'm not sure many people expected them specifically to have such good chemistry together where they can sort of trade clutch shots with each other. So the Bulls have been really interesting to watch this season. As we've said about the regular season and how long it is, they've probably proven themselves to be a legitimately great team that's going to finish high in the standings. As for how well it translates into the playoffs, who knows? Now DeMar is in a different conference from LeBron again, so he's not going to have LeBron there to pimp smack him in the playoffs. At least hopefully not. LeBron, might not even make the playoffs. See how that goes. Zach LaVine's got to prove himself in the playoffs. I agree with what James said about people not really looking at the perspective of a small market team that lets a player like Lonzo Ball go, and all the things that were leading up to that separation, and how it's probably better in the end for both parties. But people are gonna get their shit off and talk their shit regardless. But yeah, the Bulls, I believe in them. Maybe not to be championship contenders, but they're gonna finish high up in the standings and probably make some noise in the playoffs.
Yeah, I definitely see them causing some upsets in the playoffs. Definitely a team to watch. But talking about Bulls, you did mention Caruso, bro. Like, that's like such a fucking like good piece for the Bulls. But on top of that too, if we kind of translate that to what's happening in Washington Wizards, last week when we were recording this shit, or like 2 weeks ago, I think Wizards were actually on top of the East. That they're only off by like a game, or by half a game actually, but they're ranking third right now in the East, and they're killing it. And I have a mate of mine who is a Washington Wizards like diehard fan, and he was not a fan of Westbrook, but I saw him just on Friday. He's a changed man. Like, he's a generally happy man. This man, you know what I mean? Like, he's loving to see what's going on with his team, right? But what I want to say is, like, Bulls, you got the Caruso, Lonzo, ex kind of Lakers guy, but then when it comes to Washington Wizards, you got KCP, you got Trez up in here, also ex Clippers, and then
Kyle Kuzma.
The main guy is Kyle Kuzma, obviously too, right? So I think what do you call it? If anything, I need to be catching some more Washington Wizards games too. And if anything, I'd probably watch that game when they verse the Pels again. I think hopefully we're not aiming too high, trying to beat them, but they, from what I've seen, they're definitely like a fucking good team. Let's not even forget got fucking Bradley Beal too, bro. Game over.
Yeah, and Spencer Dinwiddie also. A lot of people.
Oh, bro, yeah, that's the one. Yeah, exactly, bro. It's game, cuz it's a wrap. Cause.
They're a legitimately like well constructed team that have like great role players. They seem to be
Rui.
They seem to be
sorry,
coached
Rui,
well.
after
Rui
he's,
Hachimura.
after he's not injured.
Yeah, or whatever sort of like he's got some other personal issues or something that he hasn't disclosed publicly. But yeah, he can't hurt the team, only help them when he comes back. And I don't think you're necessarily aiming too high by saying that your team might beat the Wizards, because it's also about how well they match up. So that plays a big part in it. But man, what returns that these two teams have gotten for their trades with the Lakers, it's pretty amazing. Or rather, the free agency acquisition for Caruso, and how much the Bulls have benefited off of the Lakers lowballing Alex Caruso on their offer to get him to come back. And now they kind of have to live with Russell Westbrook.
The GM making the wrong moves, mate.
Yeah.
The GM back at it, setting probably I think a record for like the oldest team on average in NBA history, and then getting injured and then having to have those old ass players play way more minutes in the regular season than they would want to.
Yeah, my quick take before we wrap things up on the Wizards, just really quickly, is want to see them play more Western Conference teams. They've had a very Eastern Conference heavy schedule. Not to say that's a easy schedule, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, they've gotten dubs against teams like Heat, Boston, and whatnot. But yeah, it would be interesting to see them play against the other side of the conference as well. See how they fare against that.
Yo, I was gonna say, whilst I'm looking at the East. Man, the East is actually properly fucking stacked because Philly's fucking like 10th seed now. What the fuck? They, I thought they were like killing it just like the other week, right? And that's the thing. Philly's already killing it with what's his face? Obviously Embiid, but what's it? Tyrese Maxey?
Tyrese Maxey. They're their new sort of point guard ball handler.
Yeah, I know he's been killing it for them too recently and shit too, but what I'm trying to say though is that even despite all that, Philly's is not like number 10. What the fuck? Which teams are gonna have to get the fuck out of that? Like, I mean, Cleveland, like, is like every person in the like from 10 and above. Even, bro, Atlanta's 11? No, like, that's the thing. I don't know who's going to make it in the East. East is actually stacked.
It might come down to a matter of health because I think that the Sixers going 4-6 in their last 10, I think a big part of that was Embiid being out. So it's like like a lot of seasons where it comes down to keeping your best players healthy. But it's a very tight conference. If you look from the Sixers, they're the 10th seed. They're only 3 games behind the first seed. So it's early days, but it's extremely tight compared to the Timberwolves being 7.5 games back of the Warriors in the West.
Yeah, and like, well, like how many more? 12 or 5, whatever. Yeah. No. It's interesting though. But speaking about Philly, because we are quickly. Apparently, though, the situation with the Ben Simmons, because we can't have Tommy here and not rip on Ben Simmons a bit. Basically, what do you call it? Apparently, they're thinking of trading him after like a certain date in December or something. Like there's like I don't know what it's specifically called, but it's kind of like at this certain point, at this certain like date. After that, like newly maybe like traded or acquired kind of pieces are now available for trade too. If that makes sense. I can't remember what it's called exactly, but it's kind of like at that specific date in December, there'll be like more options available now for Ben Simmons. Like, you guys know by any chance what I'm talking about?
No, I haven't been keeping up, to be honest.
I haven't been keeping up with the Ben Simmons stuff either. I've kind of like tuned out of that whole drama because there would always be a new development in the off season about how the organization thinks this of Ben Simmons, and then Ben Simmons thinks this of the organization, and vice versa. And that was pretty much the only thing that was dominating the news cycle, particularly here in Australia. If for whatever reason anyone's dim enough to pay attention to Australian media, which fucking sucks, because Ben Simmons is Australian. This is well, other than the Pels Bros, Pels Bros are alternative media, so they don't fall under that umbrella of the fucking mainstream media. But this was all that they would talk about here, and so I've tuned out so hard, especially when all of the mental health thing, like when that started entering the equation. It's just like, just get the fuck out. Like, somebody trade Ben Simmons, or Ben Simmons just go play. Like, I'm so fucking over it.
Yeah, I mean, that's why for me, myself, I'm keen for him to get traded. For me, like, because I'm just like, please get rid of this man. But no, like the news I'm talking about, I think it's maybe, I heard it, within the last like month or so. It's not necessarily like new news or anything like that. But yeah, so I'm keen to see what happens, because what I'm trying to say though is that like the Philly situation seems like they've actually got a good team even without him, right? So I'm wondering what kind of like pieces they could like add into that. I guess the lineup they have, and then see where they go with it, with your old mate Doc Rivers goes with it, right?
Yeah, well, Doc Rivers, he's a good coach, but my bias tells me that he'll find a way to fuck up even the best thing that's given to him. But in regards to what they want for Ben Simmons, so Daryl Morey's in charge, yeah, and all we've really heard for the longest time is that he'll only really allow anyone to overpay for Ben Simmons. So he would. Initially, they were doing the Ben Simmons, James Harden trade, and then we were reading about how he wanted Damian Lillard, and now with Ben Simmons kind of tanking his trade value, don't really know like who can realistically take on a Ben Simmons contract and give something back that Daryl Morey wants with all of his delusional expectations.
Okay. Well, I reckon we can get to the kind of like end game of this episode, but I got a couple of questions whilst I'm looking at all this shit. I'm gonna chuck it around to the forum, the discussion forum. Who do you guys see if you had to choose right fucking now? Who's coming out of the West?
For myself, if we're talking about right fucking now, Golden State.
Yeah. Wait.
I'm gonna have to go Phoenix. Particularly because of the hot streak they've been on. They won 12 straight.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing too. I reckon I'm like, yo, fucking Golden State. Why the fuck not? Hey, like, I reckon Golden State is looking like mad red hot, and later on, especially get your boy Clay in, and these guys are working their shit out more than ever more. That's gonna be fucking red hot.
Yeah, and between those two teams, or any team really, Golden State have the best player, Steph Curry, like bar none.
Yeah. Exactly. And then I hope if that Golden State does come out of the West, I hope at least it's because in the first round they versed the Pelicans, because we'll be number 8. I hope we actually like make it to the fucking playoffs. Okay, and then quick question then with that then, like a quick pop quiz, right? Who are we gonna take from the East then? I'm gonna quickly say, fuck it, let's go Miami. No, but I'm hoping for the Bucks though. What am I trying to say? But I'm saying fucking Miami. My heart says fucking Miami.
For me, I can't see anyone stopping the Nets.
Wait.
I would also go with the Nets, and I would also hope for the Bucks. But my bias always lies with which team has the best player or like the highest top end talent, and so Kevin Durant's the difference maker in that regard.
Okay, so then very interesting last kind of thing to wrap it all up. Just nice little hypothetical, get your brain thinking, shit, get your creativity flowing. I want to say then, what is it? Who wins then? Toe to toe, East versus West at that point. Then Golden State or Phoenix versus I guess it was Brooklyn for both of you guys, or Miami for me.
Yeah, I mean,
fuck, is that me? Sorry, spit.
No, I was gonna say I'm backing. Like I wouldn't have never thought I would, but I'm backing Golden. Like when the season started, but I'm backing Golden State just because of how good they've been. I've caught some of their games, and the scariest thing about Golden State for me right now isn't even Steph. It's how much depth they have. Plus Steph, if Steph's not gonna put up 30 points a game, you've got Jordan Poole putting up 30-point games. It's actually ridiculous that they've gotten better over the years. I mean, they had some shocking, unlucky injury-riddled seasons last year. Year before that, didn't do too well either. But yeah, this year, something about them. They're just that bench and the guys on that second tier kind of string bench. They're just playing out of this world at the moment. Don't know if that's just a hot streak. Even Andrew Wiggins playing pretty well. So who knows if they're going to keep that up? But they're killing it at the moment.
I think if I actually committed to my Phoenix pick, I would have them against the Nets in the finals. I might actually go Phoenix just because of the continuity that they have from last season. How they didn't really had to change that many pieces around. They just had to get better at what they were doing. But if the Warriors were to be in that spot and they had to go over the Nets, I would also give them that because they have the better defense. They might have the best defense in the NBA or one of the best defenses in the NBA. And for a team with so much firepower already, to have such a ridiculous defense, that's a pretty deadly combo. And I wouldn't say that Steph Curry is better than Kevin Durant as a player, at least not right now. But, in a playoff series, if I were to visualize a player taking over the game, just right now, I think that Steph Curry would kind of outdo Kevin Durant a little bit. I would still take Kevin Durant over Steph Curry, but man, that's a pick'em, the Nets and the Warriors. But I would probably go the Warriors because of their team composition. They can stop players outside of the star players on the Nets. The Nets can't do the same to the Warriors.
Very interesting take, gentlemen. If for me, if it was just Warriors versus either Brooklyn or Miami, I'd be rooting for both, to be honest. But I guess it would have to be Golden State, because if Golden State's at that point just came out the West, it's gonna be it's over, boys. It begins again, the second reign.
Yeah,
at least until they get old.
On that point that Tommy made, really good point. They're literally the best offensive team when it comes to points per game, and then they have the best opponent points per game, which is pretty ridiculous if you think about it. Best offense, best defense. I know it's only 17 games into the season, but yeah, it's just ridiculous how good they can get, how good they can be, really.
Yeah. I was gonna say very, very quick last minute shout outs before we start wrapping this shit up, baby. Is fucking in that OKC game, right? I remember old mate Kenrich Williams is there. He's always every time I tune into the OKC, I was always like, oh shit, it's Kenrich Williams. I hope definitely from the way he plays and shit. I'm assuming people have got love for him in OKC, so I hope the OKC guys are taking care of a boy Kenrich. But it's good to see him. Like I said, Frank Jackson, another shout out to him. But I just wanted to give a few shout outs to some ex-Pelicans players. And and the last fucking one is Eric Gordon. Only can't still stuck in Houston. Shout out to you, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's been he's been injured as well. Yeah, I don't have any shout outs for me, but I'll probably give the floor here to Tommy in case you want to plug anything, or shout out anything while you can.
I'm not going to plug anything, but I will shout out Reggie Jackson, aka Mr. June, aka Reggie Vision, aka Big Government, for still being my favorite player on the LA Clippers. God bless him.
Yeah, true. No, Reggie Jackson's the man. I hope you guys also have a well off rest of the month, I guess, right? For the Clippers. I'll definitely try to tune in with the games, but I mean,
and on behalf of you guys, shout out to Solomon Hill as always.
Yeah, my boy. Is he on the roster right now? He's still in Atlanta Hawks, right?
I don't know, bro. I think I saw him like on the street
Honestly,
in Central asking for 50 cents or something.
50 cents. Yeah. True. Yeah, nah. All I'll say though, my last note is that, like, thanks for obviously jumping on today's podcast. Tomiqi, I guess me and James can give you a little kind of like a round of applause skis. Yeah. Jump in there, James.
Thank you. I might cry.
Hey, James,
I was clapping,
where
mate.
you at?
I was clapping.
I can't hear you clapping.
His mic's too good; it doesn't pick up the noise of him clapping.
Bro, I haven't heard one clap.
I was clapping, man. I was putting it in. How's that?
I think I heard something. All I want to say though, apart from that though, Tomiqi, I should say, right, is that I'm keen for our matchup to end off the year. Not the year, sorry. 10 of the month. Clippers versus Pelicans. Although I have said, you guys probably gonna win. I'm gonna be hoping that we fucking beat you guys. So until then, mate.
Yeah, and best of luck to your team. But when they play my team, fuck your team. Hope they all tear their ACLs and all that stuff, all that good stuff.
Oh, hey,
Shit,
all right,
shit.
all right.
That's war, mate. Starting war.
I see. I see how it is now. All right. You know what? Fuck this shit. All right, we're gonna like stop recording right now. Then, all right. Peace, boys. We're gonna have to like settle some.
Oh fuck, bro! This guy knows where I live.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Peace.
Laters.